And so this has been a deliberate effort, and this is a sad, sad day. We called a meeting on Thursday and nobody could be there. Everybody had an emergency, everybody was out of town, and then all of a sudden, everybody's here. All of a sudden they're here and they can vote, but they take a stand against the people of Jackson. I want to be clear that we're going to do everything that we can to present this again, that this has only been a practice of following state law. It is the state law that requires me to do an RFP. It is the state law that requires price to be the most heavily weighted factor. That is not a Chokwe thing. That is not a mayor wants this contract thing. I want what is most affordable to our residents. I want the contract that best serves us. And so we are going to deliberate. We're going to talk about what our options are going forward. The only commitment that I can make right now is that we won't stop working for the people of Jackson. That we won't stop working for the workers who pick up our trash each and every day. I want you to know that I appreciate y'all. I appreciate your sacrifice. I appreciate what you do. And you don't deserve It's because of them. And so that's all I can offer right now. I know that Working Together Jackson said that they have a statement on behalf of their coalition. And I believe you should ask these people what's wrong. For far too long, the right questions have not been asked. The right questions have not been asked. You haven't asked, Mayor, why are you for this contract? Because it's the lowest. Because we're going to raise your water bills.
That's right.
Because we have to fix our water system.
That's right.
And it doesn't make sense to tax you more unnecessarily. That is why I'm for it. That is why I have a problem with it. And I want the truth to be out there. I want the silliness to stop. We've heard all manner of things. I've heard that my wife is related to Mr. Richards. My wife ain't never met Mr. Richards. Make the council answer the questions, the council members that voted against it. Because I thank Angelique for supporting this. I thank Brian Griselle for supporting this. I thank Virgin Lindsay for voting the right way. And the ones that didn't have to answer to the residents of Jackson why their trash isn't picked up. Because it makes no sense. I thank our city attorney who has given her blood, sweat, and tears. Who they have tried to humiliate. Who they have tried to discredit her intellect. And so I thank you. I thank you, Tori.
Thank you.
That's right. What's next in the RFP process? Where do we go from here?
You still don't have a majority vote. It doesn't mean it can't be presented again. But the other thing that's lost, there was a motion to substitute waste management. All of that ignores, right, that waste management said that they won't honor that price. Waste management said the only way we'll do it is if we do a new RFP. And all the vendors have said if we do another RFP, it's going to cost you much more. We were already talking about the difference of 32%. If you could save 32% in your home, what would you do?
I would.
Right? And so now we're going to be looking at 60% more or higher. Or higher. And so I can't give you an answer to exactly what the next timeline, because I hadn't had an opportunity to sit with our team. I hadn't had an opportunity to talk about that. But we're going to put our heads together and do whatever we can.
How will people's trash not get picked up?
Until there's an agreement. The city of Jackson is not a way. We used to pick up trash many years ago, right? More than 30 years ago. We don't have the capacity, nor the expertise, nor the equipment, right, in order to pick people's trash up. And so that's why I said that this was a decision against trash pickup. If all of the other vendors say, look, I can't honor my price, right? You're talking about a company that picked up our trash for 7 months without being paid. Without being paid. And that was intentional. That was intentional. It was saying, look, I'm going to suffocate you. I'm going to make it that you have to walk away. I'm going to make it that you have to lay off your workforce. And you had somebody who said, listen, I'm not going to do that to the workforce. I'm not going to do that to the people of Jackson, right? And still picked up our trash. Richard still picked up our trash.
Mayor,
So okay. Go to the drawing board.
what are the consequences of people leaving their trash on the curb? I've seen some this day.
You have rodents. I want to be clear because once we finally, figure this out, that means it's going to take days, if not weeks, right? Weeks to pick up the trash just to get to our normal point of trash collection, right? And so it's more than an inconvenience, right? More than an inconvenience. And then it says to our babies that we don't care about our city, that we can't agree, and that we're a filthy city. That's what it was.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, I got a question. So, can the city of Jackson actually afford these potential increases you just talked about, the percent increases?
No, we can't. We're already at a deficit, right? Because of all of these emergency contracts, right? We're already, and I want to make it clear, we intentionally did blind scoring so that no company name would be on the bids. I intentionally gave them that raw score so that they could pick what was the best, right? And so if this was somebody picking a contract, then you don't give over the data and say, you pick, right? You pick. And then you only have a problem with it when you discover that your firm, that your friend wasn't the lowest.
Who picked? Who are they?
The council could have picked. The council had the opportunity to pick. The council had the opportunity to pick, not by law, but by my choice. When we talk about negotiation, when we talk about agreement, I agreed to that. I have continued to move towards them. There has been no effort to negotiate, no effort to say, look, this is the problem that we have in the contract, right? And so this is by design, as Councilman Griselle said.
And who's responsible for approving the contract?
The council has to approve the contract. As mayor, I can only present the contract. And so I don't have an ability to just sign an executive order for trash to be picked up. The law doesn't allow it, right? The only way that we can have trash pickup is that we go through an RFP process. The RFP process informs us who the winners are. I present the winners to the council. The council approves the contract, and then I sign it, right? That is the only way that we're able to do contracts in the city of Jackson.
Can we have another emergency order?
No, not one. You just had the Supreme Court. What the Supreme Court ruled on, so that we make it clear, wasn't anything to deal with this contract. The Supreme Court ruled on the emergency contract, right? That's the only thing that they ruled on, right? And so it said that I didn't have the right to veto in order to put that emergency contract into place, right? And so I don't know, one, whether Richards would be willing to do an emergency contract, right? Because they would be negotiating against themselves. What essentially the council is trying to do is to try to delay, so that they can put a vendor of their choosing in place and give them an opportunity to build up their capacity. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to give that vendor an opportunity to build up capacity. And what will happen under emergency contract are two things. One, the emergency contract itself will be beyond what we can afford as a city. Secondly, it will lead us into another RFP, and I just told you that the new RFP would be 60% or better more than what we would have had today, right? That we cannot afford. And so I want the residents to know that that's not coming from the city's coffers. That means that you're going to pay more. That means that we have to raise your water bills to pay more. Okay.
So what are you asking, Council?
I'm asking that the residents call your council persons and tell them to support this contract, tell them to move forward. With that, I'm going to let the people.
Is there a possibility Richard could come before the council again?
That is a possibility. That is a possibility because it was not voted down twice. And also there's a possibility because you can make changes in the contract, right? But they're the only ones in position to move forward. I'm going to let, if some residents or workers want to talk, I'm going to let them talk, okay?
Where is it?